Hey, everybody. Good morning. It is Sunday, August 28th, 2022. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is my love of my life, my Luckster. This is Lucky. Thought I'd bring him up on the camera, let you all say hi. Okay, so for the purposes of clarity, I'm going to go over just two aspects this week in astrology that I think are kind of important. And then I'm going to do the readings. We're going to start Virgo. Happy birthday, Virgo. Rising moon, sun, and stelliums. And then we're going to do the tarot and the readings. I feel a little distracted right now. How's everybody? Anybody want to say hi? Let me know you're out there. Lucky, say hi to everybody. Hi, Steven. Good morning. Hi, Jules. Good morning. Lucky hasn't been on camera for a long time, so thought I would torture him. As you can see, he loves it. Are you ready to get down? Do you want to say hi to the people? Say hi. Lucky, say hi to the people. Hi, Lucy Rose. Hi, Noni Papa. Okay, here we go. So hi, Beth. Hi, Connie. Good to see you. I got to say, Lucky's taking a good turn. We started adding goat's milk to his diet. Good morning, Tebow. Okay, so we'll enjoy making your dinner. What we're going to do, okay, I colored my hair this week. I took a little bit of self-care week as Venus is in Leo right now. And this is what I'm going to talk about. We have Venus in Leo opposing Saturn right now. So good morning, Sean. Good morning, Scarred Owl. Good morning, Jules. Oh, I said hi to Jules. Okay, so this is interesting because, Venus in Leo is kind of yummy to me. I think she enjoys being there. It's a romantic sign. It's full of fun and entertainment. And here we have Saturn sort of throwing this water on our party. And I want to offer it this way because I think a lot of it is Saturn asking a little bit this week, what are the prices you're willing to pay for your own creations? And when I say that, I don't mean pay the price of suffering. I mean paying the price of believing in yourself beyond measurable results right now, believing in yourself to the point where you start to understand that fear and wobbles in your energy are opportunities for alignment at a deeper level. It seems to me for this last, couple of months or so, things have happened and transpired that I personally have not been taking action. So I didn't feel like I was creating something, and yet this wave of stuff was coming to me. So I really wanted to dig deep on how can I participate in an elevated view of this, and why is this coming up around again? So I think it's super important this week to pay attention to your self-worth and what you think about yourself. And if somewhere you're inadvertently saying, an old story. Are you telling an old story? Is there a yeah, but in your conversation? There she is. Because I think that's what's really, I think that's going to feel very tight over the next couple of days. By the end of the week, Venus will have moved away from Saturn enough where that will have lightened up. And I forgot to mention, we have Mars transiting Gemini right now. And the news here in Southern California has been riddled with police chases. There was somebody who stole glasses from the sunglass hut and then took the police on an hour and a half long chase, completely elevating all the charges for themselves. And I say this because we see a lot of stuff, at least in the media here, that's Martian and Geminian running together. I opened my computer this morning, and the first thing or my phone this morning, and the first thing I saw was breaking news. There was a shooting in a bar because of an argument. I'm telling you this because we have Mars transiting Gemini for a very long time. Throughout the end of the year, through all the retrogrades, all the stationing periods of the planets before they move forward again. So when you're feeling agitated, when you're feeling that you're somehow in a loop, because this, even though Saturn and Saturn and Venus's opposition will only be basically a few days, maybe a week's energy, there is a lot of I think this could contribute because Venus rules money, it rules possessions, it rules my self-worth, it rules my beauty. So this opposition could be a frustration. And as we see other people unconsciously frustrated, I think this is an opportunity for us to recognize our own frustration and then do our best to take mindful action, is the way I want to put it. At the end of the week, I believe it's on the 3rd, maybe the 2nd, we are going to see an opposition between Mercury at 6 degrees Libra and Jupiter at 6 degrees Aries, and Jupiter is retrograde. So I look at Mercury, and of course, thinking, speaking, writing, teaching, but it's also our communities, and the opposition to Jupiter representing beliefs, representing judicial situations. So there could be a lot of stuff going on in the news, in your communities, where people are at their last, they're at the edge of the rope, the end of the rope, as my mom used to say. So while I don't think there's anything crazy extreme going on, I do think that these are times to be most mindful of our own intuitions, even if it seems as if something does seem silly or you're exaggerating a situation. Stephen makes a good point. Teachers potentially going on strike, that would be Geminian, and this would be against, the ruling bodies, because that is also what Jupiter rules. So there's going to be, because Gemini rules so many things, we could see wars of words, we can see anger and frustration in sports involved in our children's teams at their schools or their extracurricular activities. So there's a lot of frustrated energy right now. So I started a detox yesterday. We had the new moon in Virgo yesterday. So I think this is, again, a little bit of an opportunity to set an intention to what is my mind enslaved to? And am I going to continue that thought, or am I going to give myself a new experience? And the new moon in Virgo, I think, also ushers in this sense of getting back to routine, back to what it is that, it's the beginning of the fall here on this side of the world. And we're starting to, kids going back to school. So just be very mindful. And I kind of want to offer this too. Sometimes we think about the rules, the regulations. Our children are required to do this. I'm required to do that. This opposition between Saturn and Venus, to me this week says, am I going to listen to the rules and the regulations, or am I going to trust my woman's intuition? Because there's something about my woman's intuition that's telling me to take a pause, to just slow down, because there's an inspired action that's coming about. So let's go into our readings. For those of you that may be new to the show, these are whole sign Western astrology. So I believe that the moon is on a par with your rising sign. So I think you should listen to both of those. If you don't know them, there are tons of free websites where you can, put in your birth information and get that in that chart. I think when you're looking at your personal chart, I, for some reason lately, have gravitated towards going back to Placidus, because the size of the houses, the degrees of the houses, and how they're laid out seems to be creating a lot of detail for me. So while I look at whole sign for these weekly astrologies, if you want to go back and look and see, because if your moon is in a house that traverses the third and the fourth house, we're going to look at how the community and how your family are somehow interacting. So pay attention to your moon. The human manifests and takes action based on their emotional body. The rising sign is the perception that you have. Is my cup half full? Is my cup half empty? Am I required to do this? Do I get to do that? And then the sun is how we project ourselves out into the world. So, or the perception that people have of you out in the world. So those are the kind of order I go in. If you have a stellium, that's 3 or more personal planets, taking Uranus, taking Neptune, taking Pluto out of the mix, because those are outer planets. So a lot of people will have a similar degree. We know that Pluto's been stationing at 26 degrees retrograde forever. I shouldn't say stationing, that's not the correct term, because Pluto's a slow moving planet, but it's been at 26 degrees for quite some time. There've been babies born, that whole time. So that's where I'm going with this. The Placidus thing for me, that it feels like the whole sign versus Placidus it shifts things in ways for certain areas I'm looking at, Stephen. So I agree with you, because there's certain parts of my chart, when I look at it a whole sign, it makes a lot of more sense than it does in Placidus. But then there's certain things about past life dynamics, the nodal structure, how Chiron is placed in Placidus, that sort of gives me a bigger picture of my intention and my movements moving forward, and what my soul is here to evolve to. So anyway, let's start with Virgo, as usual. Not as usual, I should say. We're starting with the sign of the month now and working our way around the zodiac. That way we can, everybody can feel like they're first. I hate the idea of people not getting to be first. So welcome, Jenny B. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Lauren K. Thank you for my comment on my hair. I actually bought a color that was a little lighter than I realized. So it's kind of funny about that. My rising is way more Cancer than Gemini, so I always pay attention about that's a great that. So I'm assuming you're looking at that in Placidus. My rising in Placidus, my moon ends up in the first house, which is interesting, and I'm very emotional, as you might know, and I'm very intuitive, and so it's interesting to me, because when we go into Placidus, we put my rising sign, or not my rising sign, my South node is on the edge, on the cusp of the 12th and the 11th house in Aries. So it makes a big difference sometimes. Teri, no, I'm not in my Saturn return. I have actually passed my Saturn return. My Saturn return was when Saturn was traversing Capricorn, and my natal is at 1 degree. So, and it was interesting because that was not a hard transit for me. I think having Saturn over my Chiron is a much more challenging transit for me. And right now I have Pluto squaring everything. So there's this feeling of a tension between me wanting to still victimize myself for the old story and being challenged to step up and create a new foundation. I think that's really, yes, the moon in the first house makes a very big difference. Absolutely. But I think even within the second house, because the second house rules self-worth, so I still see how it is cooperative. All right, but let's get into our readings. Again, as I said, we're going to start with Virgo and work our way around to Leo. Let's see what our first tarot card is for Virgo. This is the World. Oh, thank you, Small Wildflowers. I appreciate it. I hope you're going to go do something fun for your birthday week. The World. Okay, the World is an interesting card because it's towards the end of the journey for the in fact, I think it's the last card, actually, where the Fool has met all the elements of the human experience, and in many ways has become victorious. And victory doesn't come from a conquering, it comes from an awareness and a willingness to be vulnerable to the cycles of of the human experience. I can't emphasize enough how fear is truly the main ingredient for our accomplishment, for our achievement, for our feeling vital and as a creator and feeling that tail wag of being the boss of your own life. So there's something here for Virgo that feels as this new moon starts, there's an opportunity for you to take the wisdom of what you've learned and now be the boss of your own life and start to declare with vulnerability and yet assuredness. There's no, it's not getting past me that this garb, for lack of a better term, is purple, because that matches up with my third eye. So I'm vulnerable in the earthly experience to my connection to spirit, and yet I know through all that I've been through as I've traversed the major arcana that it is through my connection to spirit that things line up and come into place and the elements all line up for me. So let's see where this is specifically, because for Virgo rising, this is going to be your first house. And I want to say this too, because I believe that Virgo is represented by the Virgin. And there's a part of me that has this push-pull sometimes with the key words for Virgo, because it's practicality and dependability and work and health and enslavement. And none of those key words play to the icon of the Virgin experiencing something new. So I think this is an opportunity for there to be a sense of newness, a sense of being reborn for Virgo, and whatever intentions you've put in for this new moon. Let's see. Good morning, Posted Up. Stephen, I think that's such a hard lesson to try to incorporate, but it is one of the 4 agreements, because if we take nothing personally, then we don't own anything of other people's reactions. And I personally have been chanting that take nothing personally for about a month now, because it seems a lot of things are happening around me that seem sort of odd and very Uranian. Out of nowhere, things are cracking up and lightning is striking, and yet I don't feel like I'm taking action to co-create. So I think this is the opportunity for me in my co-creation to implement the taking nothing personally. There's so many layers. All right, for our Virgos, we have Daniel, the angel of marriage. We have Opal, the angel of God watching over your children. We have Omega in the angel's advice. And then we have Archangel Gabriel that rules communications and the arts. Wow, Michelle, that's a lot. That's a lot. Oh, how nice, Stephen. What a lovely picture that puts in my mind. Hi, Les. It's so good to see you. Welcome. All right, Virgo. Daniel is being joined by the communications card. Opal is being joined by the water fairy. Omega is being joined by the frog. And Archangel Gabriel is being joined by the burden card. The first thing that I see when I see Daniel, while we talk about him being the angel of marriage, more times than not, I see it as a history in relationships, because the human is imprinted by relationships very, very early on. And they tend to bring that history with them into new situations. And I'm not a foolhardy person. So of course I'm going to want to be aware in a situation, but there's an awareness, and then there is a sticking to the old story that is actually co-creating in a way that it's not serving you. So if we take the shadow side of Virgo, where you tend to be self-critical or expect so much of yourself, expect a certain amount of perfection, then you get an opportunity to really look at what is your self-talk. Because with Mars, being in Gemini, and I know we're not talking about that right now, we're talking about Virgo, but there's an angry energy in the neighborhood, okay? And that angry energy in the neighborhood, with my teammates, even young children, could be exasperating a self-talk. a defeated energy. And I feel as if this is about an awareness, because God and the angels, Opal is the angel of your children are being cared for by God, by source energy, by things that are bigger than you can see. And here's the water fairy. And I feel like this is Virgo's inner child, the one that is not enslaved to an adult viewpoint or adult responsibilities. And now this is important for you to pay attention to your emotional body. And when I say your emotional body, I think those are the subtle annoyances that are illuminating something where you may be out of alignment, and your job in this moment is to be authentic to you. And because here's victory, and the victory comes from your willingness to clean house. And when I see clean house, that's being aware of your self-talk. And, this is the thing. The human, when it identifies something and then puts it in its box or its category, expects things to be neutralized, wiped out. The word release is, like, I think, a huge lie, because the human is imprinted with experiences. And when we try to release a negative experience, we are infusing it with resistance and with focus in a way that doesn't serve us. So when we become aware of that, rather than trying to be something we're not, just allowing for the ebb and the flow. The questions like, well, what if this time this situation is different? And what if, being ruled by Mercury, it's my opportunity as a Virgo rising, moon, sun, and stelliums to look at, what am I speaking about? What am I talking about? What am I thinking about? What am I reading about? I had a client here the other day, and while we were going through possibilities, they were very, very invested in not experiencing something they had experienced before. And inadvertently, without realizing it, that is a focus on something that we don't want to create. So the surrendering looks like this. I am willing to be brave enough that if I smell something, hear something, or intuitively feel something that isn't in alignment, I will not necessarily take action right away, but allow spirit to open up a space to confirm or deny or validate. Because I think that the really hard part for Virgo right now is going to be getting out of this feeling of the old story where you haven't won, where, the challenge is sometimes we stick our neck out and we try to manifest things, but the human doesn't realize that the fear they have when they're sticking their neck out, there's fear when you believe in yourself and you're like, okay, I just need to prove it to myself. And then there's that fear that says, this is never going to happen. This is never going to happen. And that dominant thought actually supersedes. So when we start to be aware of our communication, and the new moon giving Virgo an opportunity, because we're going to go into a Mercury retrograde very soon, and it's going to go into Libra, the sign of partnership. Then it's going to go back into Virgo, make opposition to Neptune before it goes retrograde again. So there is an opportunity for somewhere that you have felt, I want to use the word trapped. There's an opportunity to say, what if something's different now? What if universe and my own evolution and my own intention to evolve, to be aware, is already putting things in the ethernet that I can't see? Because Virgo's going to want to see it practically, right? But it's coming, because I think this is a super important thing for you to be able to truly take advantage of the reward that's potentially coming. Thank you, DJ. I appreciate that. So good to see everybody in the chat. All right, let's go on to our Libras, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Yes, that you're talking about the Saturn-Uranus square, Lucy Rose. Yeah, that's coming this way, and it's at the Virgonian degree. So I really don't think that this is about being critical anymore. This is about being liberated. This is about giving us an opportunity. Because, it's funny, as I've, paid attention. This Uranus-Saturn square has been going on for a long time. And it's funny how the first time it goes around, it seems to have like sort of a quieter energy. And the second time it goes, it's like a little bit louder. And now this third time that we're going and experiencing this again is really, it feels like it's screaming at us. And I want to say it this way because I don't think that liberation or rebellion or revolution should really be at this stage in our human evolution about making someone else wrong in order for me to be right. It's just differing appetites and differing interests. So, we've seen, at least in the United States, some very polarizing dynamics in our government and the people that run this country. And while we can get worked up about those things, and I don't want to start a political conversation, it doesn't feel like it serves me as an individual. So if I kick back a little bit and say, you know what, I'll address that when I need to, but I stay in the inner circle, I start to create a vibrational dynamic that opens up a space for me to experience something completely different than everybody else. And that's the ascension. All right, Libra. Hi, Scott. Good to see you. Libra. Yay, steady money, we hope. Or being a little bit stubborn and standing your ground. Let's see where we're going with this. If this is going to be, whenever we get the humans or the characters, we have to see where we're going. Oh, Scott, you're so sweet. You make me feel so good. This is a very steady energy. It could represent Virgo in some ways. We are in Virgo season. So let's see what we're going to do with our Libra stuff today. I actually cannot. Oh, Scott, you're gonna get me all big-headed. My goodness. Okay. Let's see where we're going with this Knight of Pentacles. I'm really wanting some steady moolah, some steady resources. Our first angel is Indriel, the light worker. The second is Layla. The third is Isabella. And the final is Merlina. Oh, Stephen, you're funny. Sorry, small. I thought I put the thing off, the notifications. All right, Libra. Indriel's being joined by Merlin. Layla's being joined by the King. Isabella's being joined by the Communications card. And Merlina is being joined by Love. Okay, this is what I want to say, because I do think that that the Knight is representing something coming into the material world in a steady place. Sometimes this can be an energy that is considered a little bit stoic, doesn't move very easily. And at the same time, this is at this moment in our evolution, I think this would make us feel a little bit more comfortable, to be honest with you. And also, if Venus rules money, there is an opportunity, even though you're not directly related to the opposition, we all feel everything, okay, whether it's directly related to our chart or not. So this idea of Saturn, the man, opposing Venus in Leo this week, for a few days at least, is going to make us feel as if the man just keeps wanting our money. Taxes, gas, the price of freaking everything is just nickel and diming its way up. And what I want to say is that in this moment, Libra, there's an opportunity for you truly to be a light worker as you stand in balance. Because for every ebb, there's a flow. For every flow, there's an ebb. For every in, there's an out. For every sunrise, there's a sunset. So as we stand sort of steady in some ways, not rigid, but steady in the know. I keep seeing this little, I don't even know if this is a road because he's not on the road. So whatever this red thing is feels like it's my root chakra. And it almost looks like a river to me, to be honest. And I feel like when I'm looking at this today, I have to understand that all my resources, all the money I need, everything that is makes me feel safe, comfortable with a roof over my head and food in my mouth is coming to me. And my job is to stay the course, because Layla talks about connecting with spirit, and the king is about justice, balance. It's also about karma. And I want to offer it this way because recently you guys have seen a few, you've seen me get emotional. You've seen me be very, I guess the word transparent would be appropriate, in some of my more vulnerable energies. And when I talk to spirit about that, meaning I feel embarrassed, right? Spirit says, no, Teri, that's not true. It's important for people to see that even spiritual teachers have their own journey, and we all must make a choice. So sometimes when people perceive you, Teri, as confident, and then they see you wobble, it gives them an opportunity to understand that their wobble's okay too. So that's what I want to say. If you're in a wobble, if you're in a place of doubt, if you're in a place of unsureness, connect with spirit, because that will help you course correct. That will help you be able to understand that sometimes your down is actually up. So here's the communications card. And yes, the timing is right for you to be excited. What does this card say? Yes, the timing is right for a new venture. A happy outcome follows your positive expectations. Your resources will be here. I want to finish with Merlina here for Libra and the love card. Now, on the face of this card, Merlina, it says it's about confusion and indecision. I don't think that's necessarily true. I think it's about Libra practicing their own self-care and their own self-love and their connection to spirit is important for everyone around them and all their partnerships. And partnerships are not necessarily the people we're married to or the people we live with. We are in partnership with each individual that we meet on the street. We are co-creating. So when we look now and realize that I may be in a wobble, because this is the thing, Pluto is squaring Libra, it's squaring Aries, it's opposing Cancer. So there can be this feeling of I'm going to die somehow, financially, emotionally, spiritually. And the fear that is stoked by Pluto isn't really meant to pull us under, but to make us aware at the deeper level of what we believe. Because when I worry, and I only really worry about finances and money, I remember thinking to myself, my whole life, I've always thought I'll be okay money-wise. Every time somebody died and I didn't get an inheritance, I'll be okay. My dad passed away. His wife kept everything. We get nothing, and we'll get nothing when she passes. And not that I'm waiting for somebody to pass away for me to feel secure, but I'm more or less reflecting on the idea that from a very young age, I always felt that I would be okay. And now I get to align to that deeper knowing while the world is swirling around and telling us all our money's being zapped away from us. Because I do think this is about material resources. Okay, we're going to go on to Scorpio. What happened, Scott? Did you have a bad day? Sometimes when we're in fear, it's kind of like a dog that's like a champion dog, like a Doberman that doesn't get to get a lot of exercise or doesn't get its mind stimulated. If we have some energy and we're feeling overwhelmed, we may inadvertently kind of create something to pop that energy off. It's not out of the realm of possibilities, and that's an opportunity just to be gentle and look at the transit sometimes and go, you know what? I'm walking through a storm right now. It's not easy. Okay, so here we go. Well, DJ, that's also a good way to get some energy out. I want to offer this, guys, with Mars and Gemini, it's not a bad idea to go to a rage room if you got some energy built up, because we got to remember the roadways. I live on the Coast Highway, and dude, I got to tell you, this freaking, it's like Mario. It's like the Fast and Furious on this highway. People are constantly like, I don't even know that they made cars so loud anymore. So, and they're filming another Fast and Furious that's going on up in LA, and people are arguing about, streets, and there's all these There's a bridge somewhere in LA and there's all these street races going on. I mean, it's so crazy, Mars Gemini, if you look out there, that having that awareness will maybe calm you down. That's what I'm trying to say. You're like, oh, look at the shit show over here. Sorry. There should be quieter cars. Absolutely. Poor Paul Walker. He was, what a looker he was, right? All right, Scorpio. Here we go. Now, are you ready, Scorpio? Rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Got the little devil here. Now, I got to tell you, I always kind of connect with the idea that the devil backwards is lived. And when I look at this card, it does represent a Capricornian energy. It could represent a feeling of repression that you're feeling with your Venusian energies as Saturn opposes Venus in Leo. But more so for my Scorpios, I think this is an opportunity to see where your dark side might be taking over, where inadvertently you may be feeling that deep sort of darker side of Scorpio that feels defeated or feels as if what's the point? And I feel like let's look at the spread, because it also feels as if there's something about Scorpio getting to release themselves from some chains that bind them. There's so many strange, interesting. I actually saw a news feed or something that was talking about how the life expectancy has shortened over the last few years. I'm telling you, something's going on, but I think it's going to be revealed. And I think at the end of the day, well, we'll all be shocked and maybe not shocked, but we'll all be appalled for sure. I do think this is the culmination to actually creating a new earth. This is where we say, I'm no longer going to be trapped by Capricornian rules that don't serve me. And I think preparedness is our way of thinking, is our willingness to see the divinity within disruption. All right, here we go. So we're on Scorpio, and we're looking to see what does this, where are you holding yourself somewhere? Where are you chaining yourself up where it's unnecessary? Let's see. Indriel, the light worker, is here. Then we have Ariel, the connection to spirit. We have Opal, and then we have Maya. As weird as it sounds, I'm kind of a fan of some of these more challenging planets. I remember I haven't been working with Brian much anymore, but he loves, Jupiter and Venus. They're always really warm and yummy, and anybody who has them in their chart are warm, yummy people. And, I don't want to bag Jupiter or Venus, but there's a sense of entitlement with Jupiter and there's vanity with Venus. So I'm always kind of wanting to move things around, flip the script a little bit. So let's look at the devil being Pluto, asking you to dig deep, Scorpio. Where are you holding yourself bondage? Let's see. Indriel's being joined by Merlin. Ariel's being joined by the Earth Fairy. Opal's being joined by the Serpent. And Maya's being joined by the Queen. Okay, so the first thing I want to say is God bless the fixed signs, because they have the greatest opportunity for transformation in some ways, as they allow their tenacity in the fixed part to now work for them instead of against them. Because Indriel is the light worker. She wants you to shine your light. And then there's Merlin, which is about justice. It's about, what does it say? Justice, alchemy, and balance. And I think that this is about balance for Scorpio in how you are. I can't help but thinking about, there's some female Scorpios I know that love hard. They love really deep and rich and savory. And sometimes they attach to people who aren't right for them. And then they get a little bit stuck in their fixed energy. And they're like, no, if I just keep loving enough, I don't know if this is about love, but I really want to say, are you receiving as much as you're giving, Scorpio? Are you actually allowing yourself to feel the connection you want? This is the Earth Fairy, which is about physical health, but it's also about grounding, about something in the world. And when I look at Ariel, I feel like this is really not about a connection to spirit, but about a spiritual connection with yourself. If we think about Scorpio rules sex, it rules intimacy like no other sign. It's where you're going in there and you're like, I'm bearing my soul to you emotionally, financially, physically. I mean, we look at it financially. Scorpio co-rules other people's money. Scorpio rules sex. And I always kind of think of it as like, Kama Sutra sex, that really kind of deep investigation of sex, because it's time for you to start to really connect with the deeper levels of what you want and to bring them into the physical world. Because to me, the people that have, and this might sound a little weird, but I think the people that have the greatest sex lives also have the greatest connection in their minds. There's something about that. And I feel like this is an opportunity for Scorpio to really shed a skin and to say, what if there's something, what if I love myself as much as I love other people? What if I don't overgive in a situation or over forgive? Because humans tend to take advantage of people that are too nice. I'm sorry to say it, but it's true. And I feel that there's the potential that Scorpio, in a loving way, has been purporting a behavior that is no longer authentic to you. And now it's about you learning how to receive what you want versus trying to make it happen by over loving somebody, which could be a little manipulative, to be honest. So here we have the Queen and we have Maya. You're learning about reception. You're not learning about a feminine energy. You're learning about the laws of the universe and the justice and balance. Because sometimes, honestly, if we don't get what we want, it is a blessing. And if you're young enough, you don't know this yet. So I think somewhere over this next week, the Saturn, and this is where I think the two big points are. Saturn opposing Venus is going to bring something up, regardless of where it is in your chart, that's going to illuminate where you're not holding yourself with enough value and you're letting someone oppress you. Then I think by the end of the week, when Mercury makes its opposition to Jupiter, there's going to be some sort of epiphany in that belief. And your willingness to say, maybe I'm helping co-create this just because I'm putting up with something, or just because I'm trying to be loving to a person who's not being loving to me, or loving to a situation that's not being loving to me. That's what I'm going to say. All right, let's go on to I think we lost Small. I haven't seen her in a while. So I think I don't know. I hope she was going to a breakfast. Oh, there you are. Hi, honey. I was hoping you're going to go have lunch or something, or do something fun for your birthday week ending. Okay, let's go on to our Sagittarius's rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Oh, Sagittarius, I love the Nine of Cups. This is a card of personal satisfaction. It's a card of, to me, feeling very proud of what I've created and what I'm continuing to create. More so, as I work with these cards, I notice nuances that I was never taught. And one of them is all the cups are lined up. None of them appear full. So there's something still in process, but there's a confidence that comes from this character that he knows, because he feels the yellow behind the cups. And then the orange here is like my power chakra, my sacral chakra. I know how to think. My blue, how am I talking? And the red hat, I now know that my thoughts are actually my base chakra. My thoughts are actually creating my experience, and I'm satisfied with myself because I'm willing to be in the process. This is very fun. Let's look. Sagittarius, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Okay, Teresa just fell out of the cards. Then we have Serafina. We have Celeste. And we have Archangel Michael. Okay, Stephen, I don't know if I was because I thought about you, as I was shuffling, if you're looking for a new job, because Celeste is here. So maybe we're going to get a new job. Neptune is also, for in your natal chart. Okay, well, let's see what this has to say for you. All right. Teresa is being joined by the Raven. Seraphina is being joined by the Focus card. Celeste is being joined by the Fire Fairy. And Archangel Michael is being joined by the Disruption card. Okay. This is what I want to say, because disruption to me is not always flat. Okay. So Teresa talks about taking care of everybody else, talks about worry for me. And the Raven is about synchronistic events. It's about timing, and it's about magic. And I believe magic is alignment, alignment to what I want to experience in a way that trusts the journey. I don't have to see everything. I also think that the bones of this skull have been picked clean. Now, we don't see a whole skeleton. We only see the skull where the mind resides. So on some level, for my Sagittarius to truly feel satisfaction is to trust that they've done the emotional work, and that now it's time to really pay attention to how much am I worrying versus how much am I having faith in the journey. Because here we have the Focus card and we have Seraphina. Seraphina offers a happy change to your family. And I want to offer it this way because sometimes, like, and I hope, Stephen, I hope you don't mind if I use you as a little bit of an example. You had been wanting a job for a long time. When you got the camp director job, you super loved some of it. And then there were parts of it that you didn't love as much, if I remember. Some of the staff was a little bit difficult. So now this is, to me, allowing Sagittarius to focus in on what makes me happy at work. Cooperative people, people who allow me to expand and grow, people who are receptive to my ideas, because Celeste is in the Angel's Advice, which offers a new home or a new place of employment. And there is the Fire Fairy representing creative action and optimism. And I want to offer it this way because oftentimes the human has been trained to go pound the pavement to find their resources for their security and their financial security. So I think that this disruption card is disrupting the pattern of the human, what you normally do. Let me go to Craigslist. Let me go to LinkedIn and find a job. You know, I don't think this is it. I think this is about the courage and the bravery to know that there's a certain timing of things and that you have enough momentum going on within your creation. And now is a little bit of a time to sit and to allow the universe to pass the baton back to you. So I think daily meditations for Scorpio as to what they want, Sagittarius, as to what they want that shift to be. Because primarily, for me personally, Celeste is not about a location change. It's about a shift in my thinking. And this is also going to contribute, as we see with the Focus, to you experiencing what you want to experience in the way of feeling satisfied, feeling personally fulfilled, and having your cups full. Okay, let's go on to our Capricorns. Well, I always think that, I always go by this idea, if you build it, they will come, So I think to myself, first, I want to take joyous action. So when I am endeavoring, doing a video on YouTube or, creating something, some content of some kind, I want not only the words that I say to resonate with you, I want the vibration of my own excitement for the journey. Because again, you guys, I know it's kind of annoying, but if you really, really think about it, everything you've ever felt successful at, everything that's ever given you a huge tail wag was something that initially you weren't sure you could do, or you weren't sure you could create, or you weren't sure you could experience. And your willingness and your tenacity to continue down the journey, regardless of results, is where the real tail wag comes. And if you look at humans, what they are good at, what comes effortlessly to them, they usually do not pursue. They usually take the hard road. So, Capricorn. All right, here we go. The moon. The moon represents confusion in the traditional tarot deck. There's a sense of things not being clear, of things being very confusing, and a sense of prison. I see these silos back here. They feel like, solitary confinement. Now, let me offer this. For my Capricorns, being an earth sign, representing leadership, representing government and authority, there is an opportunity here for you to really look to yourself for your true north versus looking to others. This feeling of confusion feels as if it comes from a conflict within Capricorn. Those that are Capricorn watching this show are Capricorn evolving. Capricorn taking Capricorn from those old key words of isolation and depression and oppression and rules and regulations and stoic behavior, taking those and evolving those. I think Saturn is one of, and I don't like Saturn on my Chiron right now. I'm going to say that. But I also believe that Saturn is trying to help me, have my Chiron in Aquarius is about my mind, because Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. So Saturn is asking me, how much am I really willing to believe in myself when everything around me feels like it's crumbling? Because the 11th house rules humanity for me. So somewhere, Capricorn, you're being asked to go into a deep place of your emotional body, of your intuitive body, to really look at the rules and the regulations. And are you confused? Are you confused? Or are you fighting with yourself about what other people want from you and expect from you, and what you want and expect for yourself? Let's see. Good morning, just call me C. I hope I said hello to you. Okay, here we go. Capricorn, our first angel is Daniel, the angel of marriage. The second is Teresa. The third is Rochelle. And the final is Chantal. Very interesting. I know some single Capricorn rising females, and it's been before I worked with them, before I was doing their astrology. And there's one woman I'm thinking of, and there are times when she's run up against challenges in relationships. And while I don't want her to abort them, or I know she's got to take care of herself, she tends to cut the cord quickly. And I think that's a self-care thing. But the reason I say this is because there's a lot coming up about partnership right here for Capricorn and marriage. So let's look and see. Because Daniel is being joined by the love card. Teresa's being joined by the fear card. Rochelle's being joined by the disruption card. And Chantal is being joined by the mystery card. This is my challenge, is that people inadvertently defend their lack. They go, look at this reality. Look at my bank account. Look at my, my Victoria's Secret drawer. There's nothing in it, whatever you want to call it. That's probably not a good example. But because Capricorn, there is a history that comes with this card of marriage and partnership. And there's the love card. And so I think you may be very confused, because if you're an evolving Capricorn, and I mean it consciously trying to not go to the dark side of Capricorn, you may be feeling confused because you're not seeing results yet. And the one thing Capricorn wants to do is see results in the real world right now. I want to see this cup. Don't tell me about a cup. I want to see the cup. I don't want to hear that things are going to be good. I want to know they're going to be good. And now here we have fear, which Capricorn rules, and we have worry. And I think this is in direct relation to the disruptive road you're going on to learn how to trust your heart. When a soul chooses this dynamic, meaning a Capricorn rising or moon, sun, or stelliums, they're choosing some sort of experience that's allowing them the opportunity to differentiate between what they want and what is true and authentic to them and what is not. And this is kind of a little bit of a common theme with the earth signs, because we can see that in Virgo a little bit. And I think that Chantal is offering you, if you choose it, the mystery card is choice, a new dynamic within love. And I want to go back to the person I was referring to earlier, because that person didn't get the relationship, at least the last time I spoke to them, that they wanted. But I believe wholeheartedly that relationship was coming. So I feel as if Capricorn, part of your job right now is to look at your history in relationships. And we see that Mercury is going to go retrograde in Libra, the house of partnerships. So do you tend to go, oh, I never win. Oh, I always get this guy. Oh, I always have to pay for everything. Oh, blah, blah, whatever the story is. Because this fear card right here and this worry card is sort of the lower side of Capricorn. And I think this is where the disruption card really comes into play, because Rochelle, I hate to say it, but she's my favorite angel, because as you follow your heart's not going to be in alignment with everybody else. It could be potentially, but if you dig deeper and deeper and deeper, you will see that maybe your heart's more rogue than you think it is. And when you apply the leadership skills that Capricorn has, you start to really represent a whole new opportunity, because there's love. This is a resurgence of love, and there's having to make a choice instead of going back to the old story. This is absolutely has to do with love, partnership, intimacy, cohabitation, commingling of two people. Oh my goodness, I almost threw the whole deck on the ground. All right, let's go on to our Aquariuses, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Wow. My sister is a Libra rising and a Taurus moon. That put her Taurus in the 8th house, Taurus of the 8th house of the occult. Okay. Hello, Bora Bora 333. Welcome. Okay, here we go. Aquarius, the Queen of Swords. All the queens in the tarot deck are considered nurturing and loving, and this is loving of the mind. This is focus. This is razor focus. This is keeping my focus straight up to whence I come. And then we see that bird. She has this feeling of being a little bit in the clouds, and yet she feels like she's sitting on a throne that is seeped in transformation as I connect to the deeper part of who I really am. Let's see what Aquarius has, because you do have Saturn going through your house right now. And it may be about cutting through some of the old things that you've been believing and thinking. And a lot of the things that we see, in our environments is going to trigger change in thought. I believe the true ascension is going to be that humans are going to be more empowered to and connected to the idea of their energy, and their energy creates things. I love Cesar Millan because I've started watching his show again. And, the people go, my dog is crazy. My dog is crazy. And then he picks up the leash and the dog is crazy for like 2 seconds and then calms down. That man is teaching people about their energy, not about their dogs. And so as we, as an evolving tribe of people, connect to that, our thoughts are things, and we don't resist our negative thoughts, but we don't hang our hat on those thoughts or our story. We are going to be completely beyond. People are going to think we're magical, and we will be. All right, here we go. Grace and Antoinette for Aquarius is our first angel. Bora Bora, I started on Virgo, and I'm working my way around the zodiac. I've taken to doing the sign of the month and starting there. All right, Grace and Antoinette is our first angel. Archangel Michael is the second. The third is Seraphina, and the final is Daniel. One of the things that I've noticed as Saturn has been on my Chiron is that all the results that I've done working for myself and all the abundance I created for all these 8 years I've been doing this, it's been very hard for me to connect to that evolved part of myself. There's a part of me that wants to go back to a before situation, and meaning where, I'm going to push a shopping cart and everything's falling apart. I know I'm in an illusion. I'm completely convinced of that. And yet I'm still wobbling within it. So I want to say there's something for Aquarius about your thoughts, and it's going to require compassion from you. Okay. All right. We had the Stag joining Grace and Antoinette. We have the Death card joining Archangel Michael. We have the Letting Go card joining Seraphina. And then we have the Partnership card joining Daniel. Every story you've ever known, everything that you've ever experienced is here to provide contrast for you to make a choice. Do I still want to go there? Or do I want to allow something new and different in my life? Because I believe Aquarius is going through a revolution, and not just Aquarius, everybody, but this is the age we're moving into, the age of my hopes and my dreams, the age of humans seeing other humans, not colors, not bank accounts, not boobs or lips. Because as you start to have compassion for your old story, because this to me feels like it's about pride a little bit. Like sometimes when we've been hurt, and people are like, well, the focus of your hurt isn't going to make it any better. And we get mad. We're like, well, wait, I want my hurt acknowledged. I want my pain, my challenge to be validated. And while that is okay, it is not going to serve. It really is not going to serve. I mean, I could go back and say, you done me wrong, you done me wrong, you done me wrong. It's not going to make them do me right. So I think Aquarius, my fixed sign that represents air, the fixed element of air, you may be a little challenged this week as you're aware of your thoughts and this sort of stuckness to the thoughts. I don't even want to say that you're not trying to shift your thoughts. It just feels as if it's not as effortless as you would like, because Archangel Michael is asking you to have courage for the transformation of your fears. And that's what's going to truly start to shift the energy in your life and make things start happening for you instead of feeling like they're happening to you. And I want to offer it this way, because the final position is Daniel, the angel of marriage, and the partnership card. I don't think this is about marriage. I think that by nature, Aquarius feels a little alien and a little outcast. It rules exile. It rules isolation. It rules space. And how many people go into space? 2, 3, the monkey went by himself. So my point is that I think this is about coming into partnership with your story. Coming into partnership with, I've been feeling so alien and so outcast. Do I need to continue to feel that way? Because this compassion for yourself as you unravel it, it's not about trying to throw it all out at once. It's about having the courage in various situations to see, am I telling an old story? Am I repeating a story, even though it was true? Am I repeating a story that is actually not serving me anymore? My dad's been dead for almost 12 years now. And I'm 60 years old. He's been dead for a sixth of my life. And I'm still having issues with him in my mind. They're never going to be fixed in this lifetime. I'm never going to have a physical conversation with him. It doesn't serve me. So, do I want to come in partnership with my history? Yes. I want it to serve me instead of tank me. And I think sometimes having compassion for myself while I feel stuck is the best possible medicine. Because as you become more and more aware of your thoughts, you become more and more powerful within your own creation. Okay. Here we go. On to our Pisces, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Did I confuse somebody? Just so you know, about a couple months ago, I was starting at Pisces all the time and going to Aries, and then that started to feel out of balance. So I decided to start with the sign of the month, whoever's birthday month it was. Oh, we have a new person in the room. Hi, Music Hour. Good to see you. Welcome. Okay, so we're going to go on to Pisces, then Aries. We're going to end with Leo. So let's look at our tarot card for our Pisces. This is nice. It's not quite complete, but it's nice. We're moving out of troubled waters. This is a card of travel. It's a card of moving away from sorrow, moving away from feeling a turbulent time. And if you look at the card itself, the turbulent waters are small in comparison to the smooth waters. And I'm always going to believe that the swords, while most traditional tarot readers will say they represent strife and struggle, for me, it represents the strife and struggle that my mind focuses on. Everything we experience starts with our perception and our emotional body. So if we're feeling sorrow, then our perception goes into sorrow, and all we see is the wall of swords. So Pisces, you have an opportunity to use this water element to wash yourself clean and to start to really take this shroud off and allow yourself the privilege of traveling to those calmer waters. And I want to offer this too, because Neptune is retrograde in Pisces. And as we get to, Mercury gets into that 24th degree, it's going to be making an opposition to Neptune. It's going to go up into Libra, and then it's going to come back down. Wait a second. Is Mercury in Libra already? Wait a second. I have to look because I think it's still in Virgo. Hold on, I need to see real quick. Oh no, Mercury has gone into Libra. Okay, so Mercury is now at 2 degrees Libra. So we've already had this point one time, meaning this opposition for Pisces. So when it comes back, I think something's going to pop that's going to give you an opportunity to sort out this emotional issue. So basically what I'm saying is that as we go into the Mercury retrograde, it's going to start in Libra, then it's going to work its way back into Virgo. When it hits 24 degrees, that's where it's going to stop before it goes forward again. And that's going to make an exact opposition to Neptune. Somewhere in that, there's going to be the release of an illusion. And it may initially feel disappointing, but it's only going to serve your highest and greatest good, because the continuing of focusing in on that dynamic doesn't feel as fruitful. So let's see if we can narrow down the area that this will be. I know. I think sometimes it depends on, like, sometimes I listen to astrologers in Australia or other places in the world, and they're a day ahead of us. I didn't realize it had moved into Libra. Okay, so we're talking Pisces, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. We have Indriel, the light worker. We have Yvonne, my angel of vulnerability. We have Archangel Raphael, the angel of healing. And then we have Astera, reach for the stars with your dreams and desires. One of the challenges with Pisces in particular, I think, is the mutableness of Pisces is very overly cooperative and sometimes overly compassionate with problems that don't actually serve the human. Sometimes we get, that's where the word enabling comes up. So where everybody's got all these Mercury degrees. Oh, yeah, you must be talking about your natal charts now. Okay. All right. Pisces. Indriel is being joined by the Bee card. Yvonne is being joined by the Lady of the Lake. Archangel Raphael is being joined by the Goblin. And Astera is being joined by the Partnership card. All right. So this is what I want to say. There is, sometimes people pleasers. Thank you. Yes, Lucy Rose, that's people pleasers. And while that is a very noble initial effort, if it pulls you out of balance, Pisces, it's not good, because what Spirit wants for you to move away from this feeling of, now again, I want to comment, the feeling of sorrow does not feel huge to me. It feels like something nagging and old. And I've just been so focused on it, I can't get out from underneath the shroud and look at all the calm waters ahead. And somebody is watching over you and steering your ship. So now it's time for you to start to connect with the truth of who you are, the Neptunian spiritual side, and to be mindful of your being energy. Because if your being energy has been, I'm going to be like this, so you will be like that, maybe it's time to rethink the story, because this is a card of vulnerability to your deepest truth. The Lady of the Lake is about courage, the courage to speak my truth. She's going through a mental storm, an emotional storm, and yet she's holding Excalibur, her sword of truth, effortlessly. So there could be the potential that Pisces has got their ego bruised. And it's because you want something that isn't maybe good for you, or something that isn't aligned to your greater intention, and you think you want it and you keep fighting for it. But Spirit's like, no, that's not part of your contract. So now is a time for you to heal and to have an epiphany. Is my ego edging God out? Because here we have Astera saying to reach for the stars with your dreams and desires and do not compromise. And there's the partnership card. So while this partnership card is really here in the final position, we see a man, a woman, and a child in this card. So if Pisces wants to be in a relationship or wants to be in a more healthy relationship, your being energy and your willingness to be brave about what your wants and needs are. And this is not about telling somebody else. This is about you allowing yourself the privilege of your own definition first. Because inadvertently you could go tell somebody, and that's sort of like a call to action for them to do something. And I think this is an opportunity for you to say, have I been holding myself small in relationships? And if you're not in a relationship at all, have you been holding yourself small, thinking it's not easy for you? People don't come along. I live in a county that is very pro plastic surgery. You know, I mean, I remember sitting across the table from a gal, and she's just looking at me and she's like, you know, Teri, I'm going to get you into Botox. And I'm like, no, you're not. No, you're not. I don't care. I may not like the wrinkles, but I hate pain more. Everybody here is a little bit focused on the material. And so the reason I bring that up is because if I were to look around my environment and say, is it viable for me to have what I'm looking for? My personality would say no. So this is where I get to sort of say, excuse me, there's a bigger picture going on. So when I connect to that bigger picture and I don't focus in on my problems, but allow myself to I really want to task people to start to look for the wisdom, look for the gift inside of your issues, because there is always a gift. And I think this will lead you to feeling more loved, more cherished, and more valued in relationships. And I think that's important because we know Pisces rules the 12th house, which is behind the house of self. So of all the signs in the zodiac, it may feel the most unseen. You know, it rules the bedroom. It rules research, where you spend time alone. It rules sleep in the bedroom, not sex in the bedroom. So you're alone. So there's a lot of aloneness within that 12th house. And I think this is an opportunity to open that up. But part of it is by your participation in willing to move into a new direction. Okay, let's go on to our Aries, rising, sun, moon, and stelliums. All right. I didn't see Shelley today. I wonder if we've lost Shelley. Okay, here we go. Oh, this is lovely for our Aries. The sun is shining. Thank you, Spirit. And, you know, I want to offer this because oftentimes in the tarot, when we see cards that offer reward, there's always a vulnerability represented by some sort of naked character. And I feel as if here, this little boy is holding this flag that is so much bigger than him. And that flag is the color of our base chakra, the color of Aries in general. And this is a card where everything grows. It traditionally rules Leo. So I think there's something growing for Aries. And I think that this is an opportunity. Jupiter is retrograde in your house. Chiron is retrograde in your house right now. And this is where you have an opportunity to take Chiron, that we think of as the wounded healer, but we all know the wound is the gift. And this is where the human tends to focus on the darker side than the light side. So let's see, because I know I personally have done it. As Saturn's been sitting on my Chiron, all I focus in on is, oh, dear God, don't dry up my world, please. And then I have the South Node coming up and about to hit my Mercury. And so to me, this is about being egoless in my thought as I push towards an experience that I have not yet had, at least not in this physical incarnation. And that would be one of more connectedness, more ease and flow of finance, more opportunities to feel the power and the courage and the bravery of Aries in a balanced way. All right, let's look and see. Our first angel is Layla. The second is Seraphina. The third is Athena, and the final is Shanti. Oh, the future of medicine is going to be so different. And it's funny that you say sound medicine, because I do think sound will be medicine. I think there'll be many things. I remember I used to work for this chiropractor, and he had a quote from Benjamin Franklin on the wall. And it said, in the future, there will be no need for doctors. Food will be medicine. And I also heard that, and I don't quote me because I'm not sure. And I was going to rewind the TV, but I thought better of it. They were talking about how much money Pfizer and the other vaccine company, Moderna, is that what it's called? I can't quite remember. Moderna is suing Pfizer for something or other. And they were talking about on the news how much money these companies have made on COVID vaccines. And my brain went ding, 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 ding. Okay, Aries. Seraphina is being joined by the Lady of the Lake. Athena is being joined by the History card. And Shanti is being joined by the Wind Fairy. I just love this. I swear I feel like these readings are for me too. Okay, so we know Aries has the Sun card. So something is coming, something's growing, something's getting good and happy. And now is an opportunity. Here we have the Letting Go card, which for me is Elsa going up that mountain. It's funny how some distance makes everything look small, and the fears that once controlled me can't get to me at all. And part of that is because I'm connected with spirit, and I'm talking about an intention. I'm not taking any prisoners here. I want this to happen. And now I'm engaging spirit to work with me to help me have experiences and receive signs and omens that help me to be courageous in this endeavor. Because what I think for Aries is, while they're very individualistic and they want to do things on their own, they very much want to feel part of somebody else and part of a group. And I think that's where Seraphina comes in, because historically, I think that Aries has felt isolated because they assert themselves. And now I think Spirit is asking you to have the courage to have a different thought. Oftentimes, I think to myself, Oprah Winfrey, well, I don't know her personally. She appears to have more money than anybody. She appears to have a thriving relationship with her intimate partner. She appears to have very thriving relationships within her female friendships. And if, for lack of a better term, she appears to have everything that she wants. To me, this is of a powerful woman who has attained what the world will say a powerful woman cannot attain. So for Aries, do you have the courage to believe that you can be a powerful human and still have the happy family and cooperation with others? Because I believe that's what you're looking for. And I believe what you're looking for also is peace of mind. Aries rules the angry mind. It rules resentment. It rules, punching people in the nose. So I think that this letting go part is Aries starting to seek a deeper wisdom. And that wisdom is, am I reacting on in one situation? Am I trailing a bunch of stuff behind me? When I tell people I'm a Libra sun, most of the time they're like, really? They're shocked. Because I'm not indecisive and I'm not very cooperative. I'm an Aries rising. So I think it's kind of funny, because I started to get used to the idea that I was a bitch. I'm too difficult. My standards are too high, blah, blah, blah. This all came from my family. And as I've gotten older, that story doesn't work for me anymore. And it's not fair. So what am I going to do? I'm going to start looking at that story. And is it really true anymore? And I'm going to start to say to Spirit, you know what? I'm sick of that story. I'm ready to have the courage to say, you know what? I'm lovable and I can be me. And now I can start to tell a new story and I can start to sing and dance about it because I am the master of my mind. And the mastery does not come from always having perfect thoughts. The mastery comes from knowing you can only feel peace if you felt disruption. The mastering comes from the ebb and the flow. Okay, Aries, it's not going to be easy for you, but you've got Jupiter in that house to expand your willingness to look deep into your beliefs. And are those beliefs serving me? I'll tell you, I have beliefs I didn't even know I had. And as they've become bubbled up to the surface, thank you, Pluto, for squaring my life, I'm willing to look at them a little bit deeper. I use sound therapy on a daily basis. I mean, I can't even tell you, whenever I get really nervous, I go in and I put on some sort of sound therapy to calm my mind. Because if I start to work myself up, I just feel like I'm going down this road of worry is like a magnet. It starts to bring other worry thoughts into the picture, and I don't want to magnetize them. All right, let's go Taurus, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Okay, this is not an easy energy. This is the 5 of Cups. This is known as the divorce card in the tarot, although it does not necessarily mean that. It does mean that there's a focus on what has been lost and not what is still remaining. And as I look at it today, I can't help but focus on, I get to bridge. In order for me to truly lift my sorrow, I have to really look at my emotional body and bridge the gap. These 2 cups are solid. They're sitting up. There's no problem. And apparently they're still yet to be filled. And yet these cards here, or I'm sorry, these cups here, something has fallen. And it feels like a sense of security. The red is my base chakra. And then the green, my heart chakra. I can't see a color coming out of the 3rd cup, but I want to offer this because Taurus's need for security and Taurus's relation to the family history. You know, it's the 2nd house from the 4th house. And it's very much, we learn about ourselves through how our family reacts to our ideas, our things, our inspirations. And so when Taurus, rising, moon, sun, or stelliums feels some sort of disapproval is the word I want to use. It's very difficult for Taurus on an emotional level to shake it off. So let's see what Spirit has to say to help you shift your focus. I don't know if I've mentioned this in a while, but you know, almost everybody in my immediate family, my sister, and her family, they're all Taurus moons. I'm a Taurus moon. My sister's a Taurus moon. My niece and nephew, the twins, are Taurus moons. And my brother-in-law is a Taurus moon. And that's a lot of Taurus. And everybody's in a different house, which is very interesting to watch how that Taurus energy plays out. I love the sound of hanging drums too. I don't know if you guys have listened to those. All right, Taurus. Our first angel is Omega, the angel of victory. The 2nd is Rochelle, the angel of following your heart. The 3rd is Akasha, the teacher. And the final is Mystique. The thing I like about being a Taurus moon, having that fixed energy, is that on an emotional level, my beliefs in source energy and in the laws of attraction, in my own evolution, I'm tenacious about that. So I think that there's an opportunity for Taurus to be aware of what has been lost, but at the same time, be willing to fill the cups that still remain. Victory is joined by the spider. Rochelle is being joined by the novice. Akasha is being joined by the fire fairy. And Mystique is being joined by the eagle. Taurus rules our skills as well, our personal skills, our voice. Most of the time we think of a singing voice because we talk about speaking when it comes to Gemini. But again, before you sing, you speak. So I want to offer this. I think that for my Tauruses, there is some sort of victory coming. And this feels like something is coming into your web and it's going to stick. And the way I want to put it is I think that whatever the potential loss is that has come here has in some way clouded what you have created. And now you're being sort of tasked by your own soul's energy as Uranus transits Taurus. Thank you very much, to be authentic and real with what your heart desires, because this is Rochelle, your heart's desires bring wealth and harmony and prosperity. And there's the unstable new beginning. When Uranus was transiting Aries, I was working. I was still a normal Geminian person driving to work every day and only doing this work on the side on the weekends. And I was not focusing on astrology at all. Unbeknownst to me, when Uranus went over my ascendant, I said, you know what? I can't do anybody else but myself anymore. And I quit my job. This little girl pissed me off for the last time. I'm not advising anybody to do what I do because I had built a certain momentum. But what I learned more than anything, and this is why I like this for Taurus, is your ability to be tenacious about what your heart wants. So this is Akasha teaching you that if you stay inspired in your own idea, miraculous things are going to happen for you. And this is why I always focus on the emotional body first, because if you feel crappy, if you feel sad, if you're focused on what's lost, not what's gained, then your emotional body will not line up to what you want. So now, this is an important idea. This is now not just the connection to the angelic realm, but this is also integrity to write your story, to allow your story to be valid and viable. When I first started doing this work, there were psychics, there was Venice Beach, there was gypsies, and these weird terms that my intuition did not connect with. I don't like being called a psychic. I feel like it's so disempowering to you. And at the same time, do my intuitions show me an energetic momentum? Yes. So I feel like my work is very individualistic because it's identifying my co-creation and then my willingness to thread the things together to create the web that brings my victory. So I think that any Taurus right now, Uranus is offering you an opportunity to liberate yourself from old structures that you don't like. And sometimes, unfortunately, the human has to have something blow up in order to really move forward. So DJ, your desire to be a great singer tells me that you're already a great singer. Your desire is to be seen potentially, or to allow your singing to be blossoming out in the world. And you have the ability to do that. You could do it on TikTok. People do it all the time. They sing duets. They sing on their own. I in the beginning of TikTok, I didn't like enough things. And there's this one gal, she's a redhead. I only ever see her face. She's got a full face. She has a voice of a freaking angel. She sounds very R&B. She's, I'm sure, doing well. DJ, give yourself permission to explore. Give yourself permission to play. Because sometimes Taurus is afraid because that self-worth is in that second house. And we're afraid that if we sing out loud, and I know this personally, somebody criticizes us, it could shut us down. And this is why you've got to be that Taurus tenacious and really turn yourself around and look for the cups that are still standing and build upon them. I always kind of think too that, there are certain people that become famous for singing that are not traditionally good singers. I don't think Bob Dylan is a good singer. I don't particularly, I know his voice is palatable and that, but I've never bought an album. Can I appreciate his songs? Yes. Will I listen to them on the radio? Yeah. I think it really, I remember seeing recently, I can't remember if it was on AGT or if it was on The Voice, but somebody talking about it's the emotional dynamic that a singer infuses in their storytelling, because you're a storyteller. So I really want you to think about this, DJ, and I want you to give yourself permission to sing around your house and sing from your emotional body versus what you think other people will perceive. All right, let's go on to our Geminis, rising moon, sun, or stelliums. Whew, Mars in your house. Action, action, action. It can also make you scattered, make your thinking scattered, like moving too fast or something. And I want to say this, be very mindful on the roadways, people. I don't know where y'all live, but don't be driving like a bat out of hell right now. Be that little old, driving Miss Daisy person, go slow. Because I think a lot of people are unconscious and there's going to be a lot of hubbub around that. All right, here we go for our Geminis. Okay, so this is the card of a spiritual journey. It's basically all the cups are basically in balance. It's not anything cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, but somehow this character is not fulfilled with what's happening. And I feel as if there's a brave element here, a brave moment that this person has to say, you know what? My heart matters. My desires matter. I matter. And so while all this may look good to everybody else, I don't feel fulfilled. And I think it's interesting how the one space that is not full is where we see him with his base chakra at his feet. He's got green pants on, the red shirt, and he's not sure-footed. That's why he's using the walking stick. So let's see. Gemini. Our first angel is Grace and Antoinette. The second is Archangel Raphael. The third is Fiona. And the final is Ariel. I don't know why I'm compelled to tell you this story. I'm surprised you guys cannot hear all the crazy car stuff that happens on the highway here. I try to shut us in, but oh my goodness. Okay, so wait, I was going to tell you a story and I forgot what that was. I saw the comment. Let me think. All right, DJ, I'm excited. I'm excited for you. The second house and the 10th house trine each other, DJ. So if you have Mars taking action on Jupiter, you're expanding, allowing yourself the wealth of that. Don't worry about the Supreme Court and all the religious aspects of it. Go into the foreign idea of, it's a foreign idea for me to allow myself to sing, and then use the trine to allow Neptune to bring that forward. Neptune rules things like that. Rules, we kind of take fantasy and put it in a negative, but if it wasn't for Disney, none of us would believe in superheroes and magic. Okay. All right. Gemini, Grace and Antoinette is being joined by the hawk. Archangel Raphael is being joined by the serpent. Fiona is being joined by the wind fairy, and Ariel is being joined by the love card. This feels very much like during this next few months when Mars goes through Gemini, there's going to be a call to bravery and courage. Yes, it may come in the form of being pissed off or somebody saying something snarky to you or nattering behind your back. But I think that on some level, this is having compassion for the view of things to come, a bigger version of what you believe about yourself and what you want for yourself. And then I have the 11. I can't help but always see the 11. And then I'm going to go, well, I'll wait, as a master number of thought. So have compassion for yourself as you potentially, Gemini, go back and forth about, do I really leave everything I know that may feel secure and balanced to venture into something unknown, but something I want to experience? Because here is the healing, not just once, but twice. The serpent offers a healing as we shed a skin, but it also offers knowledge. And there's Archangel Raphael. I want to offer this because being mercurially ruled, stress will mess with you. And I feel like this is about, as you allow for the epiphany, and then you don't do this on some sort of weird energy where you're suddenly going to quit your job, break up with your boyfriend, leave your family. None of that. It's about having compassion as spirit starts to broaden your sight to the potentials if you're brave enough in some ways to walk away from something that is not balanced but still provides some sort of benefit. Walking doesn't mean literally, okay? Sometimes it means emotionally. Oftentimes you'll hear people say, I want to be loved unconditionally. And I often say that's not true. People cannot love unconditionally because there are conditions that exist. But can I love you conditionally? No matter what's happening, no matter the conditions, I will love you anyway, because that's what I think is going on for yourself. I think Fiona says, now that you've asked God and the angels for help, be open to receiving, and then watch yourself talk. Again, the 29 reduces down to an 11. We have the angel, the wind fairy is about thought. We have the hawk. It's going to be rising above the mundane thought. And then we have an epiphany that offers an opportunity to shed a skin. And in the final position is Ariel and the love card. And I want to offer it this way because I believe that as you set an intention, it doesn't mean that you have to, let's just say you're in a job and you don't like your job or you're not valued in your job. It doesn't mean you leave the whole company. Maybe you get moved into a new department, or your boss leaves and you get someone who comes in and totally appreciates you. There's a little something about Gemini going back and forth in a little bit of a box or into a routine of thought that isn't necessarily going to work for you. So if you go, okay, there's things I may not be aware of right now, but the universe is working and supporting me. And in doing so, I think maybe the mantra for Gemini this week is everything is working out for me. Everything is working out for me. Because at the end of the week, Mercury, your ruling planet, is going to make an opposition to Jupiter. And that opposition could be a bit oppressive if it represents somebody who is of authority, but it also could be a shift in what you're believing. Because even if for some reason there's disruption at work, it doesn't mean you'll get fired. There's so many. I have a client who works for a big company, and she's always worrying that she's going to somehow lose her job because it's project oriented. And yet the woman has been there for over a decade, and there's all sorts of evidence that shows that she's really not going anywhere, but she's caught in this feeling of that loop. So this is why I say that it's time to have compassion for your loop. It's okay. It's just now engaging spirit to help you have an inspired thought and rewrite the loop. That was then, this is now. That's what happened before, but this could happen now. All right. All right. More and more of that, Lucy, the more you say that, you appreciate the folks that get you, the more people will come into your life that get you, and you get them. All right. Gemini. Now we're going on to Cancer. Rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. And we have the Queen of Wands. The queens always represent a nurturing energy, a loving energy. This is the fire sign. So we are going to be inspired and loving. This is the Leo energy. We can see all the lions, but it represents all the fire signs. And I, for some reason here today, for my Cancers, think that I see the little black cat. And I feel like the little black cat is saying, it's about individualizing a bit. It's about, while you nurture and love everybody, don't forget to put yourself in the mix, and don't be afraid to be a little different than everybody else. All right, let me look and see where we're going with this Cancer, because the little bit of a challenge with Cancer is that you're so loving. You and Pisces, I'll tell you, you and Pisces, well, sometimes you overgive, babies. We don't want to overgive. DJ, are you asking Teri when is my birthday? Our first angel for Cancer is Fiona. The second is Bridget. The third is Grace and Antoinette. And the final is Patience. When my birthday is? You guys asking when my birthday is? It's October 17th. I was born, 2/21. That's a fun birthday. Okay, here we go. Fiona is being joined by the wind fairy. Bridget's being joined by the owl. Grace and Antoinette's being joined by the horse. And Patience is being joined by the love card. Okay, so this is what I want to say. Hi, music. Oh, wow. So we're both Libras. Okay. All right. I do think October is a lovely month. I love the fall. All right. Cancer, I want to offer you this idea because I love you so much. I want you to know that if you love anybody more than you love you, we're in a little bit of a challenge here. Okay. And I don't want to say you shouldn't love your children. I want to say you shouldn't love your husband or your family. But I do think that by putting yourself at a priority, you're actually much more able to love them more fully and for them to love you more fully, for you to feel more love. Okay. Because right now, I think you're a little in your head, to be honest with you. And there is some activity going on in Cancer recently. Let me look really quickly. I think we know we have Pluto making an opposition to Cancer. And right now in today's chart, Cancer is, where'd you go? Well, we have Black Lilith and we have the Vertex both going through Cancer right now, but I don't address those. I think this more has to do with Pluto and Pluto's influence on you and how it's been feeling. So I want to offer this to you. Please engage spirit to allow you to have an epiphany so that your thoughts can start to align, because Bridget is asking Cancer to look deeper. You're going back and forth in something. And I want to offer it this way. I know COVID stoked a lot of people, and a lot of my Cancer babies or my Cancer moons are ready, willing, able, and, on a mission to meet their person, to start their life, for lack of a better term, in that chapter of life. And I think now is a time for Cancer to have a little bit of compassion as you start to delegate things to spirit a little bit more and implement a little bit more trust. I want to offer this too, because this would represent Leo as well. I said that earlier. Leo rules romance, and the horse rules going in a new direction, foreign things. So I kind of feel as if Cancer inadvertently has kind of hung their hat on how they love, and they want to love the way they love. But I also feel like if you're going to receive love, you've got to open a space to let it in. Because patience is about observing your own energy. And there's the love card. And I feel as if you may be loving a little bit from your head instead of your heart. And I want to offer it this way, because if you're a mom, you've got to get your schoolwork done. We've got to get this done. We're at that time of year where everything is like, we're ramping up. So I want to offer it this way. If for some reason, Cancer, you need a Calgon take me away moment, or you need to just go for a minute and go and, take a hot tub, give yourself permission to do something for yourself. Some self-nurturing, I think, is super important, because otherwise I feel depleted by the end of this week. I feel somehow as if I've just been going, and I feel exhausted. So I want to offer that, and I want to offer it this way too. There's something about kind of letting somebody, I want to offer it this way. Potentially Cancer has, we've got Labor Day weekend coming up in the United States. So maybe you've got parties going. Maybe you have habits with somebody, and you ask somebody to do something, and then you really don't trust that they'll do it right, or they'll show up on time. I think just for once, maybe you should just throw that idea out. If they show up, they show up. If they bring the salad, they bring the salad. If they don't, they don't. And then do what you need to do to make sure you're nurturing yourself in the meantime. So if you buy a salad because you think they're not going to show up or bring the salad, so what? We got extra salads. I kind of feel like it's a loosening up a little bit for Cancer. Because there's something about this COVID thing that's made me feel like Cancer's gotten more unsure about the viability of love and connection and happiness. And while you're still moving that direction, I still feel like this back and forth trepidation. That's the way I want to put it. Okay, let's go on to our final sign, which is Leo. Rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Hello, CI. Good to see you. Thank you. I did a little roots this week. All right. Oh, Leo, Leo, Leo. The cup of love, the dove of peace. This is your card this week. And I want to offer it this way because we talked about the opposition of Venus to Saturn today, tomorrow. It'll ease off towards the end of the week. And then we talked a little bit about Mercury opposing Jupiter later in the week. So I want to offer it this way because I want you to focus on that love is being brought to you right here. See, love is being brought to you. And part of your job, I want to say, is to allow this cup to be full of peace, to allow, I feel like even this upside down M, which should be a W, but it doesn't look like, it looks like an upside down M for me. I feel like this is like a win. It's again, more of a receptacle energy. So I feel like there's a potential that, are you allowing your cup to be filled? Are you allowing yourself to feel fun and love? Or is Saturn sitting on you, making you feel repressed? All right, let's see. Leo, moon, and a Libra sun music. Are you a musician? We have DJ's a musician. She's a singer, or he's a singer. I don't know why I said she. Okay, here we go. Leo, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Our first angel is Fiona. The second is Maya. The third is Crystal. And the final is Archangel Raphael. Oh, that would be, that makes sense. Very creative between Venus and Libra and Leo, Venus and the sun. Okay. Fiona is being joined by the love card. Maya is being joined by the protection card. Crystal's being joined by the water fairy. And Archangel Raphael is being joined by the wealth card. All right, so this is it. I gotta love it. This is all about love, feeling, and not just intimate love, feeling loved, feeling higher vibrations of what love offers, feeling satisfied, feeling secure, feeling valued, feeling connected. And here we have the love card and Fiona saying, now that you've asked God and the angels for help, be open to receiving. Okay. And I want to offer this because the challenge with Leo is the heart. The heart, Leo rules the heart. It rules the spine. It rules courage in addition to Aries, and it rules allowing my heart to express itself. So I think what you're learning is that as you express yourself in love and what you love, not just who you love, how you express yourself creatively, then you will see that you're being protected. You will start to learn vibrationally that you're being protected. And you're not being protected from the journey. You're being protected from falling off the journey. I feel as if when you look and you see this cup of love, you understand that sometimes the challenges on the journey is the cup of love being offered to you. Because if you hadn't had the challenge and you ascended too quickly or too effortlessly as a human being, you would not necessarily believe in the viability of it. Where's the problem? Where's the challenge? Because that's what humans do. So Crystal is saying, have faith and hope. There's more on the horizon that you can't see. And there's the water fairy. Your protection comes from your intuition, from your expression of yourself, from your willingness to be vulnerable and continue on. And you will learn so much about what you can do and what you can create, because there is a healing coming for Leo, and there is wealth, but this is not money wealth. This is harmonious wealth, where the audience applauds you, where people are excited about you and what you have to offer. I really think that the idea that Leo rules the zodiac is very powerful, because it rules all the most fun things. There's very little challenges in that house, except if you count raising children, that can be challenging, but it's about entertainment. It's about hobbies. It's about romance, or most, so I feel as if it's time to play to that game. and to put your focus and your intention on what it is you love and what you want the universe to bring to you as you effortlessly sit in reception of it. And you pay attention to what you're thinking in the sense of, I know that everything works out for me. That 38 reduces down to an 11. Your protection comes through your thoughts and how your thoughts create your emotional body, because the 28 reduces down to a 1 or a 10. Every single day, every single week, every single session, I will talk about thoughts being things, because they are, and they create our experience, and our thoughts represent our beliefs and our emotions. So as we give ourselves permission in the moments that feel like a dip or feel like a challenge or a disruption, to seek a higher ground. Higher ground is, okay, if this is happening, what old story am I still sitting on? Where am I holding myself back? Where is my heart afraid that if I actually express something that is sensitive to me, that it will be applauded and not crushed? When I was younger, I was a singer. My mom, while she had a lot of faults, a lot of them, one of the things she didn't do was keep me from expressing my creativity. And so I sang at church, and I sang in tunesmiths, and I was in the school plays. My dad was sort of a Johnny-come-lately kind of guy. He came and he went, especially when I was super young. And the first time he came to see one of my performances, he sat in the audience like this. I never sang again. I know. Don't let that stuff get in your head. Don't let that get in your head, because it can. So you're going to have to look to spirit. Start here and let yourself express in places where you feel safe and protected, so you can start to build the momentum. And that momentum can start to build your confidence. And then you can go out there and be yourself, whoever you want to be. And this is why I bring up people like Bob Dylan, or people who are not considered traditionally, vocally, whatever, because it is through their emotional body, through their commitment to their own art and expression, that we as humans relate and applaud. So when we feel fear, inadvertently, we send fear to the audience, and criticism can come back. So my dad was Scottish, I don't mean to bag the Scottish people, but I don't know. Not a very, very, I don't know. I don't want to say anything, whatever. Anyway, so that's it for the week. It is what it is when it comes to my journey. But, I'm glad that I had some of this contrast, because it propelled me. So I want to thank everybody for being here this morning. And I want to thank y'all for being such loyal tribe members. If you haven't yet, please like, please subscribe, please share, and hit the notification bell so you'll know when stuff is coming up. I'm going to be doing a Mercury retrograde video sometime before it goes retrograde, hopefully this coming week. And I'm going to be doing a Pisces full moon. We'll start stacking things up, and I'm going to start doing a monthly again. So I started, if you haven't had a chance to look at your September monthly, I did a separate video for everyone. Go check those out. And I look forward to seeing y'all next week. So thank you so much. Peace out, everybody.